Chair and members of the panel, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. I can't help but feel that what we heard was really inviting. Every speaker said something that was positive and inviting, wasn't it? I mean, I think you would be quite confused to say, well, who do I vote for now? And you know, in many ways, you nowadays have a situation where when you go to vote, you'd rather say, I'll have a bit of the Labour. I mean, what Keith had to say was wonderful and very interesting. And Keith, you're young enough to carry on for some time, so you can go fight for the cause. We had Eric Nichols, who said very interesting things as well. But we would want to pick a bit of Tories, a bit of Labour, a bit of Liberal, may I say a bit of UKIP as well, maybe. But we don't have that choice. We don't have that box which says, I'll have a coalition and I'll pick on the good bits of everything. So we're going to be faced with a difficult task to have to make the decision. And one thing I want to say to this panel of august speakers that we've had is about the Gujarati community. The Gujarati community has become a model community in this society. It promotes education, as Keith was saying. It is very law abiding. We have the lowest level of crime. We also have the sense of inspiration to grow ourselves rather than relying on the state. We want to look after ourselves and be responsible citizens of this society, and we have been. Over the years, I think one thing that has come out commonly amongst this panel is that this Gujarati community has progressed and has become very solid and part of the binding of this society that we live in. And it isn't like some of the other societies where a mullah would say, you vote like this, and they all go and vote. This is a society that is intelligent and able to make its own mind up. However, one important thing that I want to tell the panel is that it is a minority. It is a minority, and minorities suffer from time to time. And this is what I would like the panel to go back and please take a note about what the minority might need. How do we communicate? So there is a need for a channel for each of the parties. And Lord Andrew was very right. The Tories didn't listen or didn't smile enough. But it is the missing channel of communication that needs to happen with the bodies like NCGO and others to learn from what can be done for this minority community. And then a lot of points that C.J. Rabir and others have said will be answered, because they are minor points in many ways, but we ought to be able to communicate in a systematic, effective way. But my subject this evening was very much to do with business. So those are the bits that I said about a Gujarati. But as London Chamber normally would do, we would do a survey amongst our business members and try and find out what is it that they would like to see. And I want to make 5 points. And really, I will make 5 points, but also will make positive, constructive suggestions of what could be done about it. Maybe the panelists will make a note of it, and maybe when they come in the government, they will take note of these issues and probably implement them. The first is I strongly believe economic prosperity is the most important thing that we've got to achieve. If you do not have economic prosperity, you don't have the money to spend, you don't have the social causes that you can fulfill. So that is the primary thing that we have to go for it. And the London business has done a survey, and this is the one important point that has come out, is that we want sound economic future. More specifically, London's chronic housing undersupply impacts on the employees and employers too. You know, they can't find the right kind of houses to rent. They will want higher wages, and then it becomes a pressure on the business. Liberating more land and empowering the builders is required very much. 74%, our survey says, of construction firms see lack of land to develop as a barrier. 65% cited inefficient, lengthy planning procedures. 81% experienced barriers to accessing favorable funding. So what are the solutions? Well, I think the parties should establish a public register of government, council on brownfield surplus land to be offered to private and public bodies able to develop it. They should defer community infrastructure levy payments for sites under 50 units until homes have gone to the market. And they should introduce help to build risk-sharing loan guarantee to enable smaller developers to access adequate finance. We will have more housing as a result. The second point is to give London, well, this is more very specific London point, London powers to grow. But as I think, Keith, you mentioned, there are more Londoners here, so let me go on this point. Did you know that the current proportion of tax retained by city mayors in New York is 50%, Tokyo is 70%, London 7%. The Greater London Authority needs greater powers to accommodate London's forecasted growth in population. 81% of the members believe that the mayor and the London boroughs should be allowed to retain significant proportion of business rates yield to invest in London infrastructure improvements. After all, it is the biggest and most powerful city in the world, so we belong to that, we need to develop it more. Permit, so what are our solutions? What are the practical suggestions that we want to put forward? Permit GLA to retain all property taxes, stamp duty, business rates, etc., etc. Remove borrowing limits for the GLA and local authority revenue. And establish several combined local authorities to facilitate economic collaboration by clusters of the boroughs. Then another point, we want the governments to deliver a secure business environment. We want cyber attacks, cyber attacks are estimated to cost UK firms billions of pounds. Small businesses are particularly vulnerable and need greater assistance to become cyber secure. This is a big issue for us in time to come. And 30% of our business leaders felt that they lacked awareness of cyber threats. And 34% report high costs of protection are barriers to implementing them. So what are our solutions? Increase the innovation voucher scheme for the SMEs. And this is the point that I think this helping SMEs is important for particularly our Asian businesses, which largely are SMEs. Extend the use of voucher meeting to the cost of the Cyber Essentials scheme. And support the proposed establishment of the Mayor of London's Digital Security Centre. Another point is the maintenance of skilled workforce. Now, this relates to the immigration issue, as has been pointed out, and I totally agree with what Keith had to say, and that we cannot keep a cap. We cannot make immigration difficult. Yes, if it is being abused, I think we should attend to that. But 52% of the London businesses report difficulties recruiting staff with the right skills. 23% employing non-EU workers do so because of the shortage of suitably qualified applicants. Now, why do we make it difficult for businesses to employ skilled people that they need? So what do? Make quality and unbiased careers advice mandatory in schools from year 7. Let us solve our problem for the future by enhancing funding for apprentices, as the present government is doing, I should say, aged 19 to 23, boost higher qualifications and gains. We need to prepare our workforce. Then I think we can control immigration of skill. Exempt foreign students from net migration target. I mean, why are we stopping students to come here? That's silly. Restore their right to work after they've been qualified. They learn, they build up the skills, and we say you go away. The economy doesn't want to benefit from it. That's wrong. I think we should work on that. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we should keep London moving. What do I mean by that? Targeted investment is essential for London's transport system to service a rapidly expanding population. 44% of London businesses see Crossrail 2 as very important for coping with population increase. 42% see Bakerloo and Piccadilly line upgrades as very important. 84% want expansion of either Heathrow or Gatwick. For God's sake, how long has these past two governments have taken on getting the new runway on Heathrow? And when I ask the question, so who's going to pay for this runway? It isn't the government that's going to pay for it. It's the public. It's the public and the airlines who are going to be paying for the new railway, or the private sector is going to pay for it. So why the hell stop it? Let them build one runway in Gatwick, another one at Heathrow. What's the big deal? If they can economically justify it, let them do it. But we still take a long time in this big infrastructure decisions, and that I think any new government should really work hard on. And we should prioritize underground upgrades in the post-election spending review, and until a new runway is built, enact short-term measures to boost at Heathrow by allowing morning arrivals and so on. Thank you very much. I've taken a little